Hello, how's it going? This is Tabletop Simulator. I've had a couple of players in the Greyhawk ask about it, and they seemed a little bit flummoxed by it. So I just thought I'd try to help you out. I don't know what it is about me, where I tend to like things that the majority of people do not like. I've brought up Tabletop Simulator to a variety of people, and they've sneered. That said, I also play it with a lot of people and have a lot of fun. I've had it since the beginning, and I absolutely am in love with it. It's the greatest thing ever, and I know that sounds hyperbolic and a little cheesy, but for somebody that has been, I've had to downsize from a full size house with a 12 by 8 gaming table into a 5 by 7 gaming table tucked into a corner of an apartment that made everybody mad for taking up too much space, and then eventually down into nothing but a desk for my computer. I am a miniatures player at heart. I started playing miniatures. This allows me to play miniatures virtually in the best way possible at the cheapest price possible, because as I've gone from the house to the apartment to the desk, th- those changes are indicative of my personal economic issues, which, you know, everybody's got problems, but that's what it is. So I really love it. So bear with me. We'll get you to give it a try and see if you can maybe warm up to it if you're not too happy with it as of yet. So to join a server that I've got, and I haven't made one yet because it hasn't come up that we've needed one. Um, I I use this if things are going to get, and I hate to use the word complex because it makes people all think about complicated or whatever, but if there's, you know, what we're doing right now is there's a couple of rocks flying around, you're shooting at them. It doesn't really require an entire miniatures board to get that out. I'm not talking about pulling on a miniatures board because we're going to be fighting major battles with hundreds of men or with some huge war game or something like that, but occasionally there might be a lot going on that requires something more than just a description. The other thing is we have a player who hasn't, I forget the name of it, something aphasia or something like that. And theater of the mind doesn't work with the poor lady. She's got some sort of thing that prevents that from happening. I don't mean to sound insensitive by using the word thing and sort of and all that. I honestly forgot how to say the word, but it's a legitimate, I don't know what she wants to call it, ailment, condition, whatever. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but visualization is impossible with this, for lack of a better term, condition. So having a battle layout is kind of a thing. It needs to happen for her in order for her to be able to make decisions and see what's going on. So, and personally for me, I love the minis. Um, so anyway, so you'd hit join. You'd have a server number. It's fairly simple. If you ever played a multiplayer game, you probably are familiar. It's not all that different than any of the others. You can search out the name of my server. I'll give it to you before we use it. It'll be simple, probably something like Greyhawk. You know, just something people can find. You can type it in here and it'll come up. But as long as you do it identically, if you capitalize where there's no capitalize, it won't say there's no close in this. It's real persnickety. It has to be exact. So we'll keep it all lowercase, whatever. And then you just click connect, and in you are. It'll load you into the game. You'll see a little progress bar as it loads the information, the different files and pictures, and you pick a color. There'll be large polka dots of different colors that are laid around the board. You click on one, and that's the color you've chosen. It'll put your Tabletop Simulator icon or avatar at that position in the table, and from there on out, any text you type or something like that will be in that color. So that's it, and you'll be on. Now, what does it look like and how does it work? We'll go to single player for this demonstration. God, I hope I hit record. Let's just verify that I did. Sometimes I've done that. In fact, we have. I've done that more than once. So I don't have anything prepared because That's not how I work those kind of systems. So what I'll do is, yeah, I'm not exactly. If you read the stuff I use, I'm not exactly original, and I'm not above a four-letter word. I live alone, so whatever. But I know this is not Star Wars because I don't have anything prepared. So, but it doesn't, or excuse me, Dungeons and Dragons is actually a Star Wars. I love me some Star Wars. But this is just to give you an idea of how it works. What the models are in this demonstration are minimal, and but here's us playing Star Wars. Same thing. The models will obviously look like dragons or something fantasy-ish, but other than that, it's all the same. You can pick them up. If you watch my cursor go from the pointer to more of a five-finger grabby, hold it down, goes back to the pointer. I've got the left click depressed this entire time to move it. That represents me picking up the model. I can twist it by using Q and E. I can move around the board by using WSD. If you ever played any first-person shooters or any computer games where you're moving from a first-person perspective, very often, not always, but mostly, those keys are used to maneuver. So if you're a PC guy, you should be able to pick that up pretty easy. That's it. All the things, these don't have it because Mr. Memory forgot to do it with all of them, but when we set it up, hopefully I won't forget. You can set them up so they have their own measurement device. So if movement is necessary like that, it'll be measured in inches as you maneuver your pieces around. So there are dice, and they work just like real dice. You scoop up a bunch of them. You can hold down left click outside of the area of the dice or any other thing to grab a bunch of them. Oh, 4 dice 6. All right. I grabbed them. They're all highlighted. Hopefully you can see that they're highlighted with a yellow border. Pick them up, shake them, release the button to roll them. And there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There's a little bit of coordination in that. If you're not a big computer gamer, you might find it mildly frustrating to get the timing, because there's a little bit of timing involved with how long you hold down the left button before they are being picked up. Basically just, to Mississippi, and they're picked up. And then I'm moving my mouse left to right relatively rapidly to get the shaking motion. It does help. That, just like real dice, don't pick them up and drop them. Shake them in your palm and roll them. That was a horrible roll. I didn't let go in time. But that's how it works. I could put a dice tower if one's needed, or a dice tray at least. So, but that's really all there is to it. You can mark, and they probably will be marked if you move. Put the stat blocks on them for some people, if that's helpful. If you hold your mouse and let it sit there for a second, you'll see that it now says that is a stat block. And if you can write out a stat block, and it'll pop up. Things like that. That's as far as moving around. I think that's about it. Can't really think of anything else. There is a myriad of different options and things. If you have trouble seeing the cursor, you can make it a lot bigger. There are ways to mess with the sensitivity. If you're having problems with the mouse being too hard to move, anything like that. And we can work through it if you've got any major problems like that. But default out of the box, it's pretty good. Most people don't have a problem with the mouse. Navigating can be an issue for some people. If you hold down right click, I guess I should get into this, that moves the camera. If you have a mouse wheel, down will zoom out. Up on the mouse wheel will zoom in. You can pan in any direction, things like that. So the rest we can work on as we go. There's really not much to it. I'm laying out some miniatures should the need arise, on some scenery, putting out a dice tray, rolling some dice, just having a little encounter. If it's needed, like this. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of troops and things like that. So that's why I put this on the board. If I was doing, Star Wars is no different. If it was, just a couple of bad guy stormtroopers in a hallway or something like that, we could probably squeeze through with a theater of the mind. But with something like this, it makes it a lot easier for me and for you, and in my opinion, it looks really cool. So I don't know if this is an exhaustive tutorial. It might still leave you scratching your head, but at least you get some idea of how it works, I hope. I'm really more of a Q&A type of person. I've never been good at making tutorials. I'm okay with answering questions and stuff like that. So I put it to you this way. I'm not going to, some random encounter probably isn't going to get put into this thing. Well, so you'll have a heads up if we're going to use it, and we'll be able to, to get you set up, to get the information downloaded should it be needed. Make sure that you can connect properly and all that sort of stuff before we play. But other than that, it's a very simple system for just moving models around as I shown. So, let me know what you think. We'll talk to you later.